All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Adobe InDesign Live. It's that time of week, and I'm back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Glad to see so many of you piling in the room already. We're going to have some fun. It's going to be a short one, but we're going to talk about some of the new features in Adobe InDesign CC. I think the update came out, I don't know, last night, this morning, sometime, depending on where you are in the world. But if you head over to your Creative Cloud app, you should have, if you haven't already done it, you should have an update to Adobe InDesign, which is the March update. Also, just so you know, Illustrator got an update, Dreamweaver got an update, Photoshop got a bug fix update. There's one more app I'm not thinking of, but it got an update as well. But those are the main apps that got updates. So InDesign got an update, not only with some, of course, performance features, but features that you can actually use. So with that said, I see Victoria in the chat. I see Matt. I see Defar. I see Christopher. I see Ricardo, Eugene, everyone else in the chat. Welcome, everyone. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Let me switch over to my computer. And in no particular order, I'm just going to start showing what's new. I did the InDesign update this morning, and first thing that's new, it's actually kind of a return of a feature. It was a feature that got removed, and based on your popular demand, it came back. So let's talk about that one. Let's create a new document. When you create a new document in InDesign, there used to be, and has now returned, a preview button. The preview button, this little checkbox down here, allowed you to preview the layout you were building before you actually said create. In other words, before you actually built it, you could kind of get a preview of what it was going to look like. If you were just maybe unsure of the size or the number of columns or whatever, you can get a visual before you do that. So now if I click preview, it will actually show me a preview behind the scenes, and that preview updates dynamically. So if I switch to wide, if I switch to 4 columns, if I do any other kinds of changes, like in my margins and columns here, let's see if we can make, yep, those changes, everything updates as I'm doing it here in InDesign in the preview. So just note that you can do a preview now, just like you used to back in the day. I'm going to turn off facing pages. I'm also going to say that, we'll leave it on 4 pages. I'm also going to say that this is not 4 columns. I'm going to keep it down to 1. I did say 1 column. Ooh, that preview didn't update. It updated when I took it to 4. It didn't update when I said 1. Let's see if it actually does it. No, it actually kept it 4 for some reason. All right, that's a bug. We'll see what that's all about. But anyway, along those same lines, let me go back to the Create New Document. There's another new feature besides the preview. And that, now see, now it's previewing it the right way with 1 column. Let's go ahead and create that one. But anyway, that's not what I wanted. Let's close this one. Let's go back there one more time. There are also some additional new document presets, just kind of keeping up with the times and the devices and things that people are laying out for. So I think they're pretty much under the mobile category. When you go into mobile, you'll see things like iPhone 10, iPhone 8, things that are, the iPad Pro 10.5, the things that are newer. Google Pixel 2, Samsung S8. So basically just updating these for the various new device sizes for people that are trying to lay out for a specific device. And of course, you can preview those as well if you turn that preview on or off. All right, I'm not going to create that one. I'm going to just close it and let it go. And Alice, hello. Dave Clayton, all the way from the UK. What's going on, Dave? Pam Fraser, welcome. And everyone else I missed, welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we did 2 things right off the bat. We did the new returning document preview. We did the new device or new page presets that are usually based on devices because paper sizes really haven't changed. So they would be device sizes. Let's keep going. Let's talk about shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts. People love their keyboard shortcuts. I'm a keyboard shortcut fan as well as far as InDesign is concerned, especially because a lot of things are just easier to do from the keyboard. I feel like if you gave me a test on where things are in the menu, I'd probably fail because I rarely go to the menus when I'm actually working to find things. Like, for example, I'm always looking for, let's see if I can find it now. I'm always looking for fill with placeholder text. It is under the type menu, but sometimes I think it's under the edit menu. But anyway, back to our story. Keyboard shortcuts. If you are a keyboard shortcut fan, you'll be happy to know that you now have some new options. Now, when InDesign was first created, of course, the big competition back in the day was Quark Express. One of the smartest things the InDesign team did back then was implement the keyboard shortcuts for Quark Express. In other words, that way, a Quark Express user could pop over to InDesign, start using InDesign, and they wouldn't be forced to learn the InDesign keyboard shortcuts. They can keep using the Quark ones. I used to always tell people it's probably better to, learn the new ones. But if you didn't want to, you could just switch over to the Quark Express keyboard shortcuts. So what's new? Well, a lot of people coming to InDesign now, InDesign probably wasn't their first application. Maybe it was Photoshop, maybe it was Illustrator, maybe it was both. Now you get the ability to switch InDesign to your Photoshop or Illustrator keyboard shortcuts. So those are now preferences. We go in, or presets. If I go into my keyboard shortcut editor under the edit menu, I get the ability to not only choose the default set, not only choose the Quark Express set, not only choose the PageMaker set, but I now have the Photoshop and Illustrator keyboard shortcuts. I gotta say, I'd be interested to see how many people plan on using these, because while having consistent keyboard shortcuts from the programs you use, like if you're always using Photoshop and you know those keyboard shortcuts left and right, and you switch over to InDesign and you just want to use the same ones, well, there'll be certain things that InDesign doesn't do that Photoshop did that maybe used the keyboard shortcut for. So I'm curious to see if you guys really think that those are useful. Like, would you switch to the Illustrator keyboard shortcuts? Those would probably be better. I think more things would be in line with Illustrator than it would be with Photoshop. But let me know in the chat. Let me know if you think this is a good idea, switching to the Illustrator keyboard shortcuts or Photoshop. I'm going to stick to being a purist. I'm going to say that if you're learning InDesign, it's probably better to learn the InDesign keyboard shortcuts rather than copying out. It's a joke. Copying out and using the Illustrator or Photoshop keyboard shortcuts. But now you have all these choices. If you switch to a particular set, nothing really happens visually. It just, when you go to use certain keyboard shortcuts under, for whatever you're using them for, then those keyboard shortcuts would be applied. I don't even know if I can find an example of one to show you what it would do now. So, but anyway, just know that the keyboard shortcuts would switch over. I'm going to switch it back to the default set because I don't want to be confused later. All right, so we'll switch it back to the defaults. That keeps it on the InDesign keyboard shortcuts. Okay, so people are pretty much agreeing with me. Eugene says, that's a feature I don't think I'll ever use. Joshua says, InDesign keyboard shortcuts all the way. I agree. I'd rather switch to Illustrator. Switch Illustrator to InDesign. Jessica wants it the other way around. Switching Illustrator to the InDesign keyboard shortcuts in a way that kind of makes sense. I guess it really makes sense for the program, if you're like really dominant in a particular program, that you'd want the keyboard shortcuts for that program across the board. So maybe that's why they did it. We'll see. All right, so familiar keyboard shortcuts. I'm just looking at my notes here from the new features site just so I know which ones to talk about next. Let's talk about Publish Online. So Publish Online, let me open up a document here. I should have it in my InDesign demo files. And let's open up. Maybe I have it, maybe I don't. There it is. Okay, I just didn't see it right off the bat. All right, let's open up this 5 days from nowhere publish InDesign document. We'll open that one up. Take a second or two. There's some font issues, but I'm not going to deal with that right now. We'll just close it. Now, this was a document that I've shown multiple times, and I use this document to show publish online because it's got some animation features. But once you publish a document online, and for those of you who are new to this, this is basically what I like to refer to as the replacement to an interactive PDF. And Eugene says, publish online is the thing. So back in the day, you might have created an interactive PDF and sent that PDF out to people, and they would be able to see the animations and watch the videos and click on buttons and things like that. And the reason that that was a good workflow back in the day is because everyone viewed the PDFs in the Adobe Reader. But that's not the case anymore. A lot of people are viewing PDFs natively in their operating system. Like, for example, if you're on an iPhone or an Android device, you don't need the reader. You just open it up and you see the PDF. You'll see it in iBooks or you'll see it in some other app. And the problem with that now is that those operating systems and apps don't respect all of the features of PDF. So it's going to be an inconsistent experience if you send out an interactive PDF now, as opposed to publish online, which allows me to send out an interactive document that is HTML, HTML5. That way it works across the board. I don't have to worry about what app they're using. As long as they open it up in a word browser, or in a web browser, not a word browser, a web browser that was created in the last century, last decade, they should be good to go. So let's go up to, so we've talked about publish online before. Now let's go up to the file menu and go to the enhanced publish online dashboard. So this is where you go to look at the stats for the documents you've published online. So if you published online and you sent out a URL, how many people clicked on it? How many people viewed it? I would not know those things without this dashboard. The dashboard adds a couple new things as of today. So it brings it up in a web browser. It shows me all my documents. I can go to this particular one that we were just looking at. I've published it a few times, but I think this one has some stats to it. And then I just click on the analytics, basically the little pie chart or bar chart for that particular one, and it will generate those statistics. Now, earlier when I did this, it was doing this. It was kind of just spinning the boxes here. And then I noticed the thing down here that says publication analytics displayed has a lag of approximately 90 minutes. And I'm like, I'm not waiting an hour and a half for this. Something's going on with the server. Then I kind of went on and I think I clicked on a different one, like this one, and got the same thing. And then I said, oh, okay, this is just not working. I'll just have to say it's there, and people will, you know, be able to look at it someday. No, I did get it to come up, and I said, you know what? Before my stream, I better grab a screenshot of it so that I don't have to worry about it not coming up during the stream like it's not doing now. So I did get a screenshot of it. So make sure I get the right screenshot here. There it is. All right, let's pull that over. This is the window that pops up when it loads. And I didn't have to wait 90 minutes. It's just the second time I clicked on it, it loaded right away. And so it's something weird going on with the server. Hopefully that'll get resolved later today. But this is what you would get when you click on it. So it basically gives you your publication analytics for that particular document, 5 days from nowhere. Shows that it's been viewed 585 times by 287 people. A lot of people viewed it twice. But this is new. The average read time. In other words, this is pretty cool. This is letting me see how much time they spent reading my document. And that's key. Like if they only spend 2 seconds reading it, you know they're not really reading it. If they spend 15 minutes reading it, that's good. They're spending a lot of time in your document. And then the total read time. Also, what's new is what devices they viewed it on. This is kind of handy too, because 89% viewed on a desktop. So that means in this particular case, stick to a design that looks good on desktops. If it were the other way around, like 89% on a mobile phone, then I better really optimize it for a small screen. And of course, tablet being somewhere in the middle. But since most people view this on a desktop, that layout probably works fine on a desktop. It looks pretty good. So someone asked earlier, where are you publishing this? On the Adobe Cloud? Yes. When you do a publish online document, here, let's see if we can view this one. We should be able to view it. All right, here's the URL for it. Now let's see if I can pop into a different tab here, paste that in and load it. And this is what it looks like. So it shows the animations from InDesign. It shows navigation from page to page. If there are buttons in here, they would also be clickable. So I can jump to the journey begins. This one has a video in it. I can actually play the video. I can go full screen. I can click on hyperlinks. I can navigate my way through the document with buttons or see the things fade in. So this is all hosted by Adobe for no additional cost to you. Once you hit publish online, you'll get excuse me, you'll get a unique URL to your document, and your document will then have analytics tied to it as well. So think of publish online as not building websites. It is building documents that you want to share broadly with others and perhaps put some interactivity in them as well, without having to send out just a static PDF. That's why I look at this as the replacement, in my mind, to interactive PDF. All right. Got it. Okay, I was just looking to make sure I didn't miss any more comments there. Let me scroll down. Oh, that's a good one. Eugene's asking, can I tell you how to find other publish online documents for inspiration? I know they maybe sometimes post them here on the Facebook page. And also just head to the InDesign page. There might be some samples there as well. I haven't seen like a gallery of inspiration, but if there were some good ones, I'm sure the InDesign team have shared them either here on the Facebook page or on the actual adobe.com InDesign page. All right, can you set the URL to something customizable? No, you can't set the URL to something customizable, but you can, of course, create a custom bit.ly for it. And that way you would have something shorter and unique to you. All right, next up, Publish Online is not new. The analytics are. So maybe we'll do another segment on Publish Online. So there seem to be so many questions. All right, another one, another couple. Let's go back here. Let's open up. Actually, we can pretty much use this document if I want to, but now let's use a different one here. Let's use this one. All right. So this one, not interactive. This one's kind of like a static document. I think it's 4 pages or so, maybe more. Yep, a lot of pages, 8 pages, 10 pages. Why don't I just look? 8 pages. All right, so 8-page document. Now you know that pretty much since the beginning of time, speaking of PDF, that InDesign has been able to export out a PDF. That's not new. That's been there since, like I said, pretty much day one. But now when you export out a PDF, you get one more new option. And in this dialog box, everything's pretty much the same except this new option right here. This new option creates separate PDF files. What that means is that on a multi-page PDF, prior to this checkbox, you could pick a page range. You could say export page 1, export page 1 through 5, export all of them. And no matter what you chose, whether it's 1 page, 8 pages, or anything in between, you would get a single PDF. So if you did pages 1 through 4, you get a 4-page PDF. If you did pages 1 through 8, you get an 8-page PDF. No matter what, you get one PDF. What this now allows you to do is automatically, for as many pages as you choose, create individual PDF files. So if I wanted, for whatever reason, 8 PDFs from this 8-page document, 1 for each page, that's what this checkbox does. And the suffix is simply how it's going to name the PDFs. So the underscore caret P means underscore page number. So it's going to give it the document name, underscore page number, like page 1, page 2, so forth and so on. And those would all be individual PDF files for the number of pages that I choose in my range. I could have probably used that once or twice in my life. Not to say that I would use it every day, but it's good to know that that's an option. All right, next up, and last but not least, let's go back to our blank document here. Let's go ahead and create a frame, text frame with type. And I'm going to go ahead and type some text. This is going to be my first, let's do it this way, first paragraph, and I hope you like it because on a Tuesday, late in the day, this is all I have. All right, so let's make that a little bigger. Let's Command A, Command Shift greater than, make that text a little bit bigger, and now let's copy it. Let's copy that text, or, yeah, looks like I don't have that enabled. All right, I'll have to change that preference, but paste it. And this time, of course, we'll change this one to be our second paragraph. All right, so now we got 2 paragraphs. They could say anything. I just copied the same thing to make it quick and easier. And now, of course, in the last update, in the October update for InDesign, we implemented a feature that lets you create a border around the paragraph. This is different than a frame border. A frame border is what would be around this blue box. But a paragraph border allows me to create a border around the paragraphs themselves. And of course, you can specify various options, colors, thickness, so forth and so on. But let's go ahead and highlight both paragraphs. And now let's go over to the checkbox in the upper right-hand corner there that says border. So this is where the border option is. If I check the box, it will put a border around each paragraph. That's exactly what it just did. And if I were to click out of this and get into preview mode, let's go to preview mode. That's exactly what we have. And now if I hit return, I'm going to get a third paragraph that's going to have a border in this probably as soon as I start typing. As soon as I start typing. All right. So now basically every paragraph that I create from this point on has that border paragraph option. So let's say I want to change it. What I can do, a quick shortcut to get to the border or paragraph border options is to simply hold down your Option or Alt key and click the little icon. So I'm clicking right here. Oops, sorry. What did I just do? Redo that. Okay. There we go. I'm holding down my Option key and clicking this little border icon. So next to the checkbox, clicking that little icon up there, that will take me into my border options. Now that I'm in the paragraph border and shading, yes, you can add shading as well to the background. You can do things like, for example, I can say, give me offset so that the borders are, oh, I didn't select the whole thing again. Hold on. Sorry. All right, so I can make the offset so the border is not touching the type, it's further away. I can also choose, if I unlock some options here, I can say, you know, unlock the link for all 4 and say, you know what, I don't need a right border. So now there's no border on the right side. So you can do all kinds of cool things. But if you ever decided, instead of it being a border for each paragraph, I would love to have a border for all 3 paragraphs that's the same. So let me put back on the right side. And now there's a new option, new checkbox down here because one of you asked for it. Merge consecutive borders and shading with the same settings. So now if I just click, all 3 borders, or all 3 paragraphs now get that one border. It's a simple little thing, but apparently for someone's workflow, it was crucial. So the InDesign team said, you know what, we're going to give it to that person, that team, that company, that whoever, that group of people, whoever needed that. And now my offset makes more sense. And I want to see the shading options here. Let's do shading. There we go. And I can also do my shading to be the same kind of offset. Ooh, I like that too, that the shading can be outside of the border. That's pretty cool. All right, we made a run for the border. We can make the shading, we can make the border, any color, any thickness, anything we want. And now you have the option to merge multiple paragraph borders together into one that looks seamless. And that's kind of it. Those are the 6 new features that came out today for InDesign CC 2018. If you, is this applicable to paragraph styles? I believe so. Let's see. I believe. Styles, paragraph styles. I believe they are. I could be wrong. But paragraph border and paragraph shading are applicable to paragraph styles. Yes, they are. All right, that's awesome to have separate paragraph groups in the one text box. Great. All right. So, as I was just wrapping up and saying, those are the 6 new things as of today in the March 2018 update for InDesign. If you guys go update, you can go have some fun with this and create documents and share them online and publish them online and create borders and create shading and create multiple single-page PDFs and preview your documents before you create them and have more document presets like iPhone 10 and Galaxy S8 and so forth and so on. All right, so with that said, I hope you had some fun. That went a little longer than I expected it to, actually. I thought this would be like a 10-minute stream and ended up taking up the regular time. So with that said, folks, thanks for watching, and we will catch you on the next one, which will be next Tuesday, InDesign Tuesdays. Cheers, everybody. Bye.